Hello, everybody. Hello, I'm Caroline Gao, and I write for Slash Film and other outlets. I'm a screenwriter and playwright, and I am your moderator for this Q&A for Driveways, this wonderful film by Andrew Ahn. You can watch this film at AAIFF from now through October 11th, and anyone who purchases a ticket for Driveways will get an extra entry into a raffle for one Final Draft software license. So see comments for the link. So we would like to also thank the community partners of this program, Korean American Story and Vietnamese Boat People. Without further ado, please welcome Andrew Ahn, the filmmaker, and cast members Lucas Jaye and Hong Chau.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us, Carol. I really appreciate it.
So I was lucky enough to catch Driveways at the last Tribeca Film Festival, and I really want to know first about the casting process. How'd you come across Lucas?
So I'll say a little bit, and then I think Lucas and Hong, you can fill in any details that you want to. But first we were trying to think about like who plays Kathy, and for me, I just really saw Hong in the role. I thought that she would bring this kind of edge to the mom character that would be, like really authentic and, like fun and just bring that kind of humanity to the character that I was really looking for. And so I wrote her a really nice note, and I just was like, please be in my movie. and we had a great coffee and chatted about it. With Lucas, we worked with our casting director, who's one of the best in the biz, Avi Kaufman, and she, sent me Lucas's self-tape, and I could just sense immediately that, he had a real kind of presence and charisma on screen. And then I brought Lucas and Hong together, and I was like, oh, I really hope they look like mother and son and that they get along. But yeah, Hong, Lucas, do you want to say anything about it from your perspective?
I remember getting that nice note from Andrew, and my manager at the time was trying to, prep me, and I was like, oh no, I already know who Andrew Ahn is. I saw his first feature, Spotlight, and I really loved it. So, I mean, the script would have had to have been really bad for me to say no, because I kind of already knew before even going into our little coffee date that, I was going to work with him. But he also just turned out to be a really lovely person who was just really easy to talk to. I think we talked for like 3 hours that first meeting, and I think it's really important when I'm deciding to invest my time into something. Not only is it that it's like a good script, but you also hope that it'll be like a good experience. So likewise with meeting Lucas for the first time, we had a chemistry read, and I was late because my Google Maps took me to a different building in Hollywood. So I seemed really unprofessional, and he was very prepared. I remember afterwards there was like one scene where I dropped a line, and Lucas was like, yeah, that was really good, but there's one line that you forgot to say. And I was like, oh, this kid, he's got some chutzpah. So yeah, it was just really nice, and I also really loved Lucas's parents, and oddly enough, Lucas's mom is very much like Kathy, and so that whole saying of the right person, the person who's meant to get the job gets the job, and I kind of feel like it definitely happened in this case with Lucas.
Lucas, you want to add anything?
I do. I remember that when we had to do the self-tape, we just got back from Disneyland. It was like really late at night, and we're like, oh crap, we forgot to do the self-tape, and we just kind of like did it. We were like, oh thank God we weren't late. We were just like so rushed to do it, but sorry, we just kind of like took our time with the self-tape in general, but we were just kind of forgot about it, unfortunately, but we did send it in.
How did you like the chemistry read?
I love the chemistry read. I'm just trying to remember it because I'm really trying to remember it like the back of my brain.
I feel like a question for Andrew, actually.
Yeah.
Because it was my first time working with a child, and you seemed like I don't know if you had a conversation with like other director friends of yours who maybe had a lot of experience working with child actors, but it seemed like you knew what you wanted to get out of the chemistry read and how to go about it. So you had some things prepared for us to do, and I just wondered where that came from.
I mean, some of it was just, some experience that I had working with kid actors before. Some of it was actually, having done a callback with Lucas. I had gotten to meet Lucas, once in person prior to that chemistry read. And then I just, I talked to some friends about kind of, building relationships like quickly in, a kind of first time meeting situation. But I just wanted to be kind of as intuitive and empathic as possible. And, I just wanted you to like each other. But yeah, Carol, you can ask your next question.
Okay, so anyway, this is the final film of the legendary Brian Dennehy, and fun fact, they are campaigning for a post-anonymous Oscar nomination for him. And so tell me, what was your most positive memory of Brian on set?
I think what I really loved about working with Brian was that, I was a little bit scared that he might be super intimidating and not want to, take notes from a young director. But Brian actually really loved the process. He really liked rehearsing, and he liked having a conversation about the scene. And, there's a scene toward the end of the film where his character Dell tells Cody, Lucas's character, that he's moving to Seattle at the end of the summer, and we had shot Brian's close-up first, and then we shot Lucas's close-up. And after we were done with the scene, Brian came up to me and he said, hey, Lucas was so good, and he was trying some things that really inspired me. Like, I'd love to do my side over again. And the fact that he wanted to like stay on set instead of like going into like an air conditioned, like area and chill and relax, the fact that he wanted to go again, I hope that we're that motivated and inspired, when we're that age, right? Like that we want to continue doing the work. And I think that really shows in the performance. And I think it's something that, really reflects kind of not just his talent, but also, who he was as a person and his experiences. And I'd really love for him to, to get the recognition that he deserves. He's worked so hard in this industry for so many years, and I'm just, so fortunate that I got this opportunity to work with him.
Yeah, I feel the same. Brian is definitely part of a generation of actors that you just don't see anymore. He has a very a look that you just physically, you don't see male actors who look the way he does physically. There's like a lot of very for lack of a better word, like a lot of pretty boys who are actors, and you don't see a lot of sort of, I guess what you would call like a character face or a character body. He just had, he was built like a truck, and he also had a different work ethic, I think, than a lot of actors that, a lot of younger actors where, he did theater, television, and film, and there was really, nothing that I think that he said no to, and I don't think that, and I think that was because he just enjoyed working so much, and you don't find that nowadays. I think younger actors are a lot more career oriented in terms of not really wanting to put themselves out there, or like doing a lot of things, or sort of working on things just for the sake of working. I think that you're always learning something on every job that you do. And I think just nowadays the focus is more on like, what should that next career step be? And I think that that's a different attitude that actors like Brian Dennehy have, where they just really enjoy the work. And it was absolutely the same on Driveways, where he didn't have to be there. It wasn't the most, physically comfortable space. We didn't have trailers, any sort of luxuries like that, because it was so low budget. And yet he was just so happy to be there. And that's something that is very helpful for me to see. I think it would be helpful for Lucas to see. I'm glad that it's his first movie, and that he got to see, like, this is how actors should be. This is, you take it seriously, you know your lines, you care about what you do, and you're not there to just waste people's time, or to make it about you, or whatever drama you have going on. And that's just sad to say. It's very different from a lot of the younger actors that I've encountered.
Yeah, Brian, he made me feel like I was really good at what I was doing, and he made me feel very comfortable. He gave me a lot of advice on acting, because he was very experienced, and made it as natural as possible, and became really great friends with each other.
So the film was shot in Poughkeepsie, New York, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. How did the arrangement of the shoot go there? Was the neighborhood excited about this film set coming in? This film crew?
Yeah, so yeah, we shot it in Poughkeepsie, yeah, about 2 hours north of the city. It kind of felt like summer camp, especially because of like Lucas and his siblings. Like, it just felt like we were, in this kind of more rural area, filming for the summer. We were very fortunate that we were close enough to New York where we could work with some really wonderful actors for the supporting roles. Christine Ebersol plays Linda. Jerry Adler plays Roger. And they're both just like such lovely, lovely actors. And so, we were really glad that we could find, a place that had the cast, the crew, and the look necessary to pull off the film. Yeah, Lucas, do you remember anything about Poughkeepsie? Did you like it there?
I do remember that it was a little hot sometimes. Not so hot, but it was nice normal temperature. I remember seeing like some of the neighbors just like poking their head out in their houses, just like watching us film. It was a very nice environment. It was very small, and it kind of felt like home, definitely.
Much like the film itself. Okay, so Okay, so a big significant part of this film is about cleaning behind a large mess left behind by a relative. Now, I have some hoarder Vietnamese relatives, and when I saw this film, I'm like, oh, I have this family, and I even picked up on some of their habits. And the film is intentionally vague about the background, but was this premise based off any real aspects of Asian habits?
That's a cool question. I mean, the script, which was written by Hannah Boss and Paul Thureen, who are New York writers, it wasn't specified as Asian American characters. That was something that I had pitched, really wanting to work with Hong, and so it was something that kind of got layered onto the script. We didn't 100% specify this is a certain kind of hoarding. I think we talked about it more kind of emotionally, and Kathy's sister April, kind of why she would do this and how Kathy understands it now, after her sisters passed away. I think that there are little touches here and there. My production designer, Charlotte Royer, every now and then I would pick something up and I was like, this feels like an Asian hoarder item, but it wasn't something that, I gave to Charlotte as, this is what we need exactly, or this is the exact look. I think it was more, again, just kind of keeping it to the emotional storyline, what this hoarding meant to Kathy.
So, Hung, how was it like to get through this mound, basically?
Oh, it's funny that you mentioned that you have Vietnamese hoarder family members, because I do too. And when when Andrew said, oh, he was trying to warn me that the house was going to be a disaster, and to really try to prepare myself for it. And I walked in and I walked back out and I was like, it's not that bad. Like, you should see how I grew up. Yeah, I definitely understood it. And that was also a little bit part of a conversation that Andrew and I had earlier, in terms of how we wanted to still inform the character, to still respect that our Asian background, and without speechifying about it in the script, or having it be really blatant or heavy-handed. It's we talked about what generation do you think Kathy is, and it always kind of felt like, I think she's kind of in that 1.5 generation, and it affects you know how I prepare my character, and in very subtle ways. And so I thought that it was very subtle in some of the items that you see in the house, and it also informs what I imagine that rift between the two sisters was caused by, and what their family life was like growing up. So you just kind of need to, have those conversations, and to kind of all be on the same page, and think about it in a very minute details like that, even though the audience may not see it, but it definitely translates in the end.
So, okay, so I'm gonna open the questions to the audience. So right now I'm just looking for questions. Anybody?
I can maybe as we wait, I can also mention a little bit about the hoarding. You know, we knew that it would be a pain to film in there, and so our production designer had the really good idea of putting all the hoarding on like in piles on top of roller wheels, so that we could kind of shift piles around to like get an actor in, you know, to get a camera in, it kind of helped with even just like the kind of clearing out process. The other thing that I'll mention is like when you see Hong clean in the film, like she's really cleaning. And I remember, at one point, she had to carry some boxes, and our production designer had put just like a couple of like light items inside a box, and Hong picked it up and she was like, oh no, like put some more shit in this so that it's super heavy. And that for me was really exciting. And at one point she was like, I think I should be dirtier, and so we like put some dust on her. And I think that
yeah, I really hate to be that actor who's like, could you make my shoes dirtier? It needs to have more dirt on them. But yeah, those little things are important to me.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a question. Favorite moment from set?
Lucas, do you want to start?
I do actually. Well, I do remember this one set where me and Brian were like practicing a scene in the house. Wait, no, it was in the backyard where we had to do it, but we were in the house practicing. It was a scene where we're like organizing like some yard stuff, and we're just having a casual conversation, Cody and Del. My mom walks in, and Cody says, I have not religion. And my mom's like, wait, what are you guys talking about? Yes, you do. We say grace, we pray. I said, oh no, we're actually just practicing for a scene. She was like, oh.
Oh. I actually hadn't heard that story. I didn't know that. That's so cute.
Yeah, we were just, I just thought the funny part was that we were actually practicing, but my mom thought it was an actual conversation between the two.
I really love that scene. I think Lucas and Brian were so good in it. I think maybe one favorite moment that I had with Brian was he would sit in the chair that Del sits in the movie, just to like kind of chill between scenes. And our production design team had put a candy bowl of like butterscotches next to it, that's just for props. And Brian would eat the entire bowl of butterscotches every time he sat down. And so the production design team would have to like constantly refill it. And it's like it was edible, but like he shouldn't have eaten all of them. But yeah, that was one of my favorites.
I also have a food memory. It was when we were shooting the scene where Kathy and Cody are eating pizza in the front porch, and I must have been really hungry when we were shooting because I kept eating the pizza, and Andrew was like, you need to slow down on that, because I was still eating it even after we had cut. And
I didn't want you to get
it was
full.
like the best item. It was like the best pizza. But that also happens to be one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and it's like really short. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the difference between like when you're shooting something and then seeing the final product and seeing the context of the scene within the entirety of the film. I don't know. That scene just like really touches me. There's no dialogue. They're just eating pizza, and there's just something that really, I don't know, I get a little teary like when I see them eating pizza in the porch. It's so simple.
I didn't want you to get full so that you would like, have to like keep eating.
You don't know my capacity for eating pizza. It's
Okay.
Lucas,
The
you were
pizza
gonna
was
say
actually really good. So I don't blame you, Mom.
What do you think the characters are doing now after the film ends?
Oh,
Hong or Lucas, you wanna
That is a tough
say
one.
something first?
Well, I think because I'm just trying to like think of what Cody could be doing, but I think he just kind of like starts a new life in the new house. And just kind of like grow into the neighborhood and meet new people.
Check out more manga.
Yeah, check out more manga.
I could see Kathy becoming like a small business owner, maybe a pizzeria.
Okay.
I
So
love it. I love it.
anyway, so tell me about your next projects.
Getting through COVID is.
I know. Getting through the pandemic. Yeah, I mean, I'll say like I'm working on a couple of things. I'm doing a lot of writing. Some are Asian American stories because it's a community that I care about, and I think that there are so many talented actors and storytellers in the Asian American art space. But yeah, it's like I will say like I just have such fond memories of driveways, and each of these actors, Hong, Lucas, Brian, they were so generous and loving, which was an attitude that like I think you really needed to pull off something so delicate as driveways. And they were all just they made it so much fun and they made it so meaningful. And so I was just really I hope that like for the rest of my career, like every movie can be like that, right? Where I can like actually like love the people that I'm working with and that they, like care for each other. That environment I think is really key. I don't want to be that director that yells at people. I don't think that's fun. And so, so whatever my next project is, I just want to have, a good time and have everybody enjoy themselves.
Any thoughts from you, Lucas? Hong?
I'm good right now.
Okay.
I didn't know what to say. I was just like, what do I say? What do I say? Do I say I'm good?
We only got a minute left. Anyway.
I will say that Lucas is in a great movie on Netflix called The Sleepover. And Hong, after Driveways, like, Watchmen, Homecoming, they've been very busy. I'm the only one that hasn't done something else. But yeah,
Okay.
Thank you so much for this, Carol.
Thank you. So that's all Q&A, everyone. So you can watch the film at AAIFF through October 11th. And little reminder, anyone who purchases a ticket for Driveway will get an extra entry into a raffle for one Final Draft software license. Go get it, screenwriters, I guess. So, and see comments for a link. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.